Pylon listeners, welcome back. We are here getting ready for the Super Bowl. That's right, the Super Bowl. So we're going to be having a slightly big podcast here, a slightly bigger podcast than usual, maybe, just because it is the Super Bowl. So it's going to be a super episode we got ahead of you right here. So for the Pylon, representing the NFC North, I'm Big Z, representing the Detroit Lions. Let's go around to the rest of the crew. So we got Kinger, representing the Packers, who came up just short.
I'm back, boys. I'm over it. It was a great season. Had a lot of fun. But we're looking ahead to 2021 now. It's a new season ahead. Time to hit this offseason hard.
Then we got Barney representing the Bears.
You know, last offseason, Tom Brady chose to reside in Tampa Bay over Chicago, and I think he made the right choice.
And then last but not least, we got Remy representing the Vikings.
Skull Vikes. I just want to say, Tom Brady, you knocked Drew Brees out. You made Aaron Rodgers look foolish. And it's awesome. We're loving it. We are loving it here. Skull Vikes.
And then just a quick intro because, you know, there's a big trade on the horizon here, so we're going to get his opinion in this episode, is our producer, Kid J.
Hey, everyone. Happy to have a brand new Matt Stafford on the Rams. So.
Yeah, and let's dive right into that here, because obviously, especially the NFC North, this is the biggest news that's happened in the last couple of weeks. The Lions dominating headlines so far this offseason, just want to say. But nonetheless, the Stafford trade. So Matt Stafford obviously gets traded to the Rams, and the Lions get in return Jared Goff, 2 future first-rounders. So not the Rams don't have first-rounder this year, so 2022 and 2023. And the Lions get a third-rounder from this year's draft. So a humongous haul. The Lions are going to be taking on that Goff contract, though, and Matt Stafford's $19 million dead cap hit. So it will be a little bit of a lot to take on for it. But, I mean, the Lions are clearly signaling a long rebuild here, trying to get long-term success. I will give my opinion on this first before getting the rest of you. I love the trade. And you guys laughed off 2 first-rounders. I didn't think it was going to happen, but, you know, when I threw it out there as like a hypothetical, you all laughed it off. And it happened. It happened. They actually got 2 first-rounders. Although part of that, to be fair, is taking on the Goff contract, which is a big reason why they got a second first-rounder out of it. But nonetheless, Stafford gets traded for 2 first-rounders. But I love the haul, especially, you know, for a guy that was never going to be back at all, to get that much for him, I think is just humongous. And for how much this team needs to rebuild and the depth that's going to require, I think it's huge. And it also leaves open a few questions. What the Lions are going to do with the 7th overall pick in this draft. Do they get a quarterback? They don't need to reach now. They have Goff. Or if they really like somebody, they could use that extra draft capital now to move up and grab somebody they really like if it is Zach Wilson. But let's get to the rest. I'm sure I'll have more to say on this, but let's get to the rest of you guys. Barney, let's go to you first.
Just because you mentioned it, what do you see as the play with Goff? Are you excited about him coming? Or is this like, do you think that this is a contract you guys probably want to get off the books if you're really trying to do that rebuild that you're talking about? I mean, strapping that kind of cash to a quarterback that was absolutely just thrown out of LA because one of the best offensive minds couldn't use him. And I want your take on the quarterback Jared Goff overall.
So first of all, that great offensive mind is the one that slammed the table for him to get that contract in the first place. So at one point, he did really like this guy. I'm not sure what happened in 17 months since he signed that contract. And maybe a fresh face or a new place for Goff is what he needed. I don't like the comment. I just kind of laughed when I saw it that he's happy to go to a place where he's wanted. I just thought that was really funny. But I do think there's like some rumor out there or some thought out there that Goff might be traded, like he's not going to be actually on the Lions. But that would be extra funny after seeing that comedy. He just wants to be wanted somewhere. He's happy in Detroit and then gets traded again. But nonetheless, I do think he's going to be here for at least 2 years. That minimum one. I think he's definitely the starter this year. So I think he's going to be a bridge quarterback, but he is 26 years old, a former first rounder from not that long ago, and like led a team to Super Bowl on a very good offense. So maybe he just needs a new environment. I like the trade from that aspect too. This is a 26-year-old former first round quarterback, and there's still, I think, some possible upside there. And if not, we have 2 first rounders.
I gotta say though, buyer beware here for your new head coach. He's on the hot seat because I don't know if the rumors are true, but there were texts circulating from Jared Goff's phone or screenshots of his text saying that he would totally slam McVay's girlfriend. So
I did see that.
I don't know the merit to that. I don't know if it's actually true, but R.I.P. to the Detroit head coach's wife, because Jared Goff's going to be looking in the stands.
I mean, you've seen Dan Campbell. I don't think Jared Goff's going to fuck with him. that guy's a tank.
True.
Let's go to you, Remy. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, so I am not high on Jared Goff whatsoever.
No, nobody's really high on him.
The fact that he's coming into an offense where there really is no offense, I mean, I think it would be wise if you guys traded up to maybe go grab someone like Jamar Chase. Then you can add that weapon, pair him with Galladay.
He might be there at 7.
He could be there at 7. I have seen mock drafts where he might go at 3 to the Dolphins, though. But I'm more excited. I think LA honestly got the better deal with Stafford going there and with surrounding him in that offense with a coach like McVay and all that. I'm actually kind of happy I get to play golf now twice a year instead of Stafford, because Stafford was kicking our asses and golf is maybe tolerable now.
I think the Vikings have won 6 straight against the Lions, so Remy.
Yeah,
right?
But I'll never forget. They're too close of games, and 2, that stupid ass walk-off touchdown by Golden Tate where he spinning heel kicked Anderson.
Oh, I love that highlight. It's a good highlight.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I just don't like Jared Goff as a play. He could have went anywhere, and I just don't like him. I think Kirk Cousins is better than him. That's saying a lot. I guess we'll see how it plays out. Maybe he'll stick a boot in my mouth and make me shut up, and I'll eat my words. But I mean, you did get a nice haul, but it's gonna have to be for next year's draft. We'll see. Like you said, maybe he doesn't even play it down in Detroit. I don't know. In my opinion, I think the Rams got the better deal.
All right, let's get Kinger's thoughts on this now.
I think from both team perspectives, I think this makes sense for both teams involved. I think for both in regards to their plan going forward, the Rams really in win now mode, the Lions in more in that rebuild mode. This does fit the bill, and I see why both teams came to this agreement. Ultimately, if we're talking long term here, I do like Detroit getting all these draft picks and Goff included. I really do think that they're now really going to have some draft capital to really try and get some new young talent in there and really start to rebuild the organization. I think the Lions really are playing into that 3 to 5 year plan. Yeah. I definitely don't think that this makes them, this does not make them a better team at the moment, right? Hopefully you can develop Goff and maybe he shows a new side of himself in Detroit with a team that actually wants him in a new system, new environment up there. But we'll wait and see. This is going to be key now for Detroit to really see how they utilize these draft picks, right? And can they really bring in 2, 3, 4 guys that can become quality level, high-end players for them in the future.
And there's another aspect of this trade, too, is the fact that Brad Holmes is the GM of the Lions, and he was the guy that was apparently pounding the table to get Goff at all costs in L.A. So I think he might know him better than anybody else besides maybe McVay, and maybe he can put him in the right system here. But it also makes me a little skeptical that he was the guy for Goff. So I don't know, because we saw a lot of Bob Quinn trades with the Patriots as well. So I don't want to see too much of this going on. But, I mean, if you look at all the other offers out there, this was clear by far the best offer anybody gave. The Carolina Panthers were close, though, because they offered the 8th overall, plus a few extra picks, I guess. But actually, it just got reported today by Dan Patrick that the Broncos offered the 9th overall plus Drew Lock and maybe a pick or two else. But not 2 first-rounders and a third-rounder, plus a 26-year-old quarterback, who was first overall. But let's go to our resident Rams fan here, our producer. He's not an NFC North guy, although I think he has a soft spot for the Lions just because of me. But he's my brother. But Kid Jay, from the Rams' perspective, how do you like the trade? Because this will be 8 years in a row now. When we get to 2023, they will not have a first-round draft pick.
I really like it for the Rams. Stafford is, I think, like the perfect quarterback for Sean McVay to play with. I think the Rams will go like way more vertical downfield next year, because they really decided not to go down, take a lot of shots down the field last year because they didn't trust Goff to take those reads, and they reformatted their whole offense around like short passes. And I think the Rams are just going to go deep more down the field, and I think that they really like Matt Stafford's ability to improvise, during plays, and like ability to go to his second read and make something out of nothing. And Jared Goff is very they had to scheme up like a whole play just for one read, just for him. And I think that it'll open up the Rams offense to something much bigger. But it really kind of stinks that we're not going to have those 2 first-round picks, because the Bills are starting to come due, and all the big contracts that the Rams are paying people. Like, they'll probably extend Stafford like a year to help smooth like his cap, but it's like the Rams are really banking on hitting those like mid-round picks this year and to build out the roster and fill it out.
They've done a good job of it so far.
They have, yeah, and they have done a really good job of it so far. Just like when you're relying on those mid picks, what if you miss a couple and then your whole roster kind of falls apart? So that's what I'm worried about a bit. But I think it's a quality trade, and the way they like the Rams value first round picks, they might as well choose a sure thing over like a draft pick, an unknown draft pick. So I kind of like that aspect, but it's gonna be really fun to watch them next year.
I think Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods will definitely both of them be in the top 20 for wide receivers in the league as far as like fantasy like numbers might go, because Cooper Kupp with somebody who just throws the fucking ball as much as Matt Stafford loves to do. It's just I think that's gonna be a great pair.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will say, go ahead, Kid Jay. Oh, I was just going to say it's going to be, I agree with Barney's statement 100% there, and it's going to be interesting to see, kind of like Rodgers when he had his first year with LaFleur last year, how does Stafford adapt to this offense, right? He was pretty much in I don't know if spread's what you call it, but he was in a straight gunslinger offense in Detroit, for the most part, because they couldn't run the ball and were down 1 million points every game. So when you have, when you have a new offensive system coming in, what it's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see if Stafford can adapt to that style of play off the bat immediately. Ultimately, I think it's going to be easier for him, but we'll see how quickly he picks it up and adjusts. I like Stafford a lot, though. I think he is going to be a good player.
I think the Rams' offensive line is worse though than the Lions had this past 2 years. So
it's aging too. It is getting older too.
I think that's something to factor in for Stafford there. And now, if you're a Rams fan, you're relying on Sean McVay and his scheme to win out over any offensive line issues. But I mean, and this goes back to Remy too, saying the Lions don't have anything to build. I disagree with Goff. I think there's some pieces there. Now they have a whole new wide receiver staff coming in, but as far as offensive line, I mean, they have a pretty good third round guard in Jonah Jackson, plus an all pro in Frank Ragnow, plus Taylor Decker, who's a Pro Bowl left tackle. So they have 3 really good pieces on the offensive line. And then you have Big V, our weird off-season signing from last year, but he can play guard or tackle. He also had a foot issue all year, so maybe that'll get resolved. But then there's at least 1 or 2 pieces that need to plug it off his line, but there are pieces there. And then DeAndre Swift, if he can learn to hold on to the ball, it could be like a top 15 running back in the league.
People forget holding onto the ball is pretty important in the NFL.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I never.
We'll just deflate those balls. That's what helps, right?
Your offensive line may be solid, but I mean, outside of that, who do you have? Like Marvin Jones is a free agent, correct?
T.J. Hawkinson, your boy from Iowa.
T.J. Hawkinson and a Galladay who is injured every other week.
Well, Galladay
Hey,
might not be back.
Do
I
not
don't
say
think
that about future Bear Kenny Galladay. All right,
So-
do not say that.
So
I think Kenny Galladay won't be.
Marvin Jones is a free agent, correct?
Yes.
Hot take.
So is Amendola, and so is Galladay.
Hot take. He goes to L.A. to be reunited with Stafford, and they have. Actually, I mean, Van Jefferson is still really good. They might not even need another wide receiver in L.A. I'm sorry. I'm the biggest Lions fan. I love the Lions next to the Vikings. I support them, but I do not like this move. You guys are taking steps backward, and I don't know. Maybe it's just
He didn't want to be there. What else are they going to do?
go get Jimmy G. I don't know.
Oh
No.
geez.
You might as well get Jared Goff. I mean,
no, Jimmy G's the man though. We're just gonna leave that one out there. We're a fan of Jimmy
Eastern
G on this
Illinois,
podcast.
this is a pro Jimmy G podcast.
Yeah.
And pro.
He visited Loris like right after the draft, and just bought like a shit ton of shots for everybody. So I like the guy.
He visited Loris.
Yeah, he's boys with one of my friends there that went to high school with him at Rolling Meadows, and so he visited Loris like
No.
right after being drafted or like through the process or something like that, and it was good stuff.
So we stand Garoppolo, and then we stand Hawkinson because obviously tight end you, baby.
Hawkinson's good as hell. I think he's gonna be a
Also,
good
shout out George
tight end.
Kittle if you're listening to this. I don't think you
Yeah, I
will,
do too.
but George Kittle, shout out.
And I think Anthony Lynn had a lot of success with tight ends in San Diego. Say what you want about his coaching decisions and such, but the tight ends perform pretty good over there. So I'm excited to see what they can do. It's going to be a run-first offense, at least, with Goff, and we'll see if they draft anybody this year or not. But we'll get into that more as we go on. I just want to get our initial reactions to that trade because it's gonna affect a lot of what the Lions do going forward here. It's going to be weird without Stafford on the field, that's for sure. And I think he's going to do well in LA. I still don't think LA is going to be a Super Bowl team, losing some of their pieces on defense, plus a aging offensive line, and a whole new defensive coaching staff. I think losing Brandon Staley and those guys, Kid J, is going to hurt you guys. And I don't completely understand selling out even more than they already have. Personally, do you agree?
I do think the defense is definitely going to regress next year after losing. They're probably going to lose a couple guys, and Brandon Staley is a big part of it. And I mean, they got Raheem Morris as a defensive coordinator. I think he can do pretty decently well, but they're definitely going to regress. But I think they're hoping that the offense picks it up, especially like the passing game picks it up and is able to cover for some of those defensive lapses next year. So,
yeah. And Barney, do you want to add something before we move on?
Just gonna be a smart ass one last time.
Shocker.
Jared Goff, he might say those things about being traded to Detroit, that he's happy, but he's starting to have fucking nightmares, as he is audibly said to the cameras that he's terrified of Khalil Mack. So the fact that he is guaranteed 2 games with him, I don't think he's he might be pumped, but he definitely is a little bit fucking scared.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a supreme amount of confidence Jared Goff going to Chicago in December necessarily.
Ooh.
So you're going to probably get a Jared. Maybe we'll play early in the season, hopefully, in Chicago. It seems like the Lions always play like the first week of December in Chicago. At least the last few years, it's been that way. And at Green Bay as well, you get Jared Goff again too. Although he didn't play bad in that playoff game, Kinger.
No, he didn't play bad. I wouldn't say he played good, though.
Yeah, that's all. I'll take that for now, right? That's all I can take right now. So let's move on now to the next portion of this podcast, and that's just going around the horn here for the rest of our teams. Just getting a little update on where things stand. Kinger, maybe you can give us an update on where things stand. I know Aaron Rodgers. First of all, it seems like he's come back. There's no issues there. I don't think we need to go into that more. Not a shocker by any means.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that.
But maybe there's some news on the coaching front.
There has been some news on the coaching front. And some changes have been made to both the special teams. We released Sean Menenga, who has been our special teams coordinator for the last few years. That was probably rightfully expected, considering the Packers, I think, were 29th or 30th in the league this year in overall special teams. This year there was numerous games where, we saw a lot of mistakes from that unit, repeat mistakes. They were almost good for every single game to let up some sort of decent punt or kick return. So that was something that needs to be improved on heading into next year. So that's not an overly huge surprise. We replaced him with Maurice Drayton, who was our assistant special teams coach. But he's been an assistant in the NFL in that same position for 5 or 6 years, been on the Fluor's coaching staff. So he gets the nod as the opportunity and is our new head or special teams head coach. And so on top of that, we did end up letting Mike Pettin go. His contract was up at the end of this year, so it's technically not a firing, but he was not renewed. That's, again, something that I think a lot of Packers fans thought was going to happen. You'd got to give him credit because he did, have a respectable defense. They finished 9th overall in the league this year, top 10 defense. You really can't ever complain about that from a Green Bay fan's perspective, considering how bad some of our defenses have been in the past. But with our talent on that, with our young talent on that defense and the playmakers we have, LaFleur just felt that it was time to make a change. And there's no guarantees going forward that the defense is going to improve next year. With a new coach in place, but we've got the young talent, like I said, and I think we've kind of seen maybe Pettin's ceiling in what we were going to get from his defensive scheme. So bringing in someone new, we've really started interviews. Second round interviews are going this week.
Who are they targeting?
And, we'll see where we go from there. Yeah, there's a lot of them. They threw out some big names originally. I mean, Wade Phillips was thrown out. That was squashed pretty quickly. So I can confirm, I think they interviewed about 8 or 9 guys. But the main ones here going forward, I think that at least what I believe have gotten second round interviews are Jim Leonard, who is the Wisconsin defensive coordinator, University of Wisconsin defensive coordinator. Chris Kiffin is the Browns D-line coach. Ryan Nielsen is the Saints D-line coach. And then Matt Burke is the Eagles D-line and run game coordinator. So they're also, I think, one internal candidate, I think our DB's coach, Jerry Gray, is getting interviewed as well. But it sounds like it's going to come from one of those 6, which are not necessarily the most well-known, recognizable names.
I like
the
Jim Leonard one, though, just because he's been doing such a good job at Wisconsin for years. I've been wanting to see him leap to the NFL. That'd be fascinating.
Absolutely. Some people are saying that some people are saying that he might be wanting to hold out for a head coaching job in the college ranks. But being a Wisconsin guy that he is, it's hard for me to see him not at least evaluating or strongly considering that opportunity if it was presented to him. So we'll wait and see where it goes. I don't really know if I have really a favorite out of these guys right now. I'm still kind of trying to learn about most of them, if I'm being honest. But it's a pretty good situation to come into Green Bay right now with some of that young talent. Obviously, there are a lot of holes out there, but I definitely think it's a pretty appealing job overall.
All right, let's move on now to the Bears. Barney, what's going on in Chicago?
The big news was that we were bringing back Nagy and Pace, right? And that kind of started a domino effect with some of our assistant coaches, Jay Rogers, to note, and a few others, kind of just jumped ship. I think they're kind of betting that, Pace and Nagy won't turn it around, right? Because, they had the offers here to stay, but they decided to go elsewhere. So I think the writing's on the wall saying that the little belief that they have in those two.
I just want to throw out there, I love the fact that the Lions had taken 3 coaches that were considering the Bears, but ultimately decided to go with the Lions. Deuce Staley, Aaron Glenn. I can't remember the third one off the top of my head, but I just like the fact that they're going to Detroit.
That's a wise move. Any other year, I would be a little puzzled at that, but when the entire fan base and actually the NFL can't understand how Pace and Nagy are still back is it's just clear enough for assistant coaches that they're glued to these guys half the time. When a new coach comes in, they usually like to bring in their own guys, right? So I think the writing is on the wall, like I said before. and there's more pressure on these two guys more than ever. But just to highlight some of the guys we got, just today we announced our new running backs coach, Michael Petre. He was a running backs coach for Oregon State, and our third string Artavis Pierce. I think Artavis took about 5 or 6 snaps this year, but we went out and got his old running back coach to be our running backs coach. I honestly have no idea how to evaluate that at all. But as for the defensive coordinator here is the big spot that we're all concerned about. We hired internally. We promoted Sean Desai. He's been with the Bears for the last 9 years, since 2012. Or this will be his 9th year. He was the defensive quality control coach for 6 years, and then the last 2 years he was the safeties coach.
How do you feel about that hire?
Well, I still think it all stems from the top. So I will say I looked to some of the players to see what they thought, and you got to sift through a lot of the coach speak, because nobody's gonna rag on anybody, especially a promotion day. But the guys on defense, they seem to really like this guy. They're saying that he's just, the one thing that they keep saying is that he's just very intelligent. They're telling us that we're going to have a lot of similarities that'll draw from our previous defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, when it comes to scheming and whatnot. And, if that holds to be true, count me all the way in, because from an X's and O's standpoint, Vic is one of the best defensive coordinators out there.
Oh, yeah.
And so, if this was his student, if this is the guy that learned quite a bit and will translate a little bit, then, I'm all for it, because we got the talent there. We got one of the highest paid defense in the league. So, we have the talent to make noise on the defensive front. So if this guy can bring the heat, then, I'm excited to get going.
Definitely. And yeah, you're right, Bill Barney. It's just very strange energy around the Bears right now. The fact that all those coaches are leaving, like kind of by choice rather than like pushed out by Nagy or something like that. It's like, what's coming with the Bears, and like ownership is like blind to it completely. That's kind of like the vibe around it right now. No.
Yeah. The Bears ownership is like, but we kind of just take it, like Chicago has been getting rammed, by, I want to say this the best way I can, and not offend some people here, but, we are used to misled money management in this city so much that, like when Ted Phillips and the McCaskies announce that they're going to, extend these guys, and when it's a clear cut, like we should get rid of them. Like we already we have that embedded into our brains just from living in Chicago and what that entails entirely.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on now to Minnesota and see what's going on there. So Remy, I understand you might have hired a new special teams coordinator. And then if you could also update us what's going on with the offensive coordinator spot. And then lastly, there are some rumors out there about Kirk Cousins possibly going to the 49ers, a little Kyle Shanahan reunion. So if you could give us an update on those three things.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, those rumors can be laid to rest. As much as I really don't really like Kirk Cousins, kind of want a new change in Minnesota, it's not Jimmy G. I don't know. I know I made that comment earlier, but it's not Jimmy G. I think that would be a regression from Kirk Cousins' stats show also. Anyway, there's a reason
just
why
his praises earlier, but now
exactly. There's a reason why Justin Jefferson got 1,400 yards. You have to have a solid quarterback to do that, and as a rookie, he's making these great catches from some great throws. So Niners rumors, laid to rest. And if that ends up happening and we do trade him, then I'm the worst Viking analyst ever. I will go out on that note, but no. And so, yeah, but a position that we really needed to fill that would be the unsung hero in most games is a special teams coordinator. And we have hired internally, of course, Ryan Ficken. He's been with the Minnesota organization for 14 years, served as the assistant special teams coordinator. And then I think he was like the running backs coach for or assistant running backs coach for 3 years way back when. But again, not much of a shocker there. Minnesota likes to do a lot of internal things, which leads me to my next point as the offensive coordinator. More of the rumor that I think is true is that we are very interested in hiring Clint Kubiak, Gary Kubiak's son, who is the quarterback's coach, I believe. And as for him to kind of take over as an offensive coordinator, knows the offense. Gary Kubiak's his dad. So yeah, and Zimmer would keep it all internally too. So that's kind of the news out of Minnesota. And then Justin Jefferson getting robbed of the Pepsi Rookie of the Year award by Justin Herbert. That is complete, utter bullshit. If you're a rookie and you come in and you break Randy Moss's all of rookie records, it's stupid. That's what I'm most pissed about. Justin Jefferson was just robbed in plain sight of this award, and it pisses me off.
That's a tough one, man. I mean, Herbert also set records, too.
I think Herbert.
He broke just about every single
Herbert
rookie.
Gets the ball every play in his hands. The ball is in his hands every play.
Yeah.
Every play. When you have
more important
Adam Thielen.
He's a quarterback.
Exactly. When you have Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Irv Smith Jr., Kyle Rudolph, and you are still being productive as he started off not even being the third option. And you're breaking Randy Moss's records. Come on.
Herbert broke 3 records.
That
That's all I'm
sounds
going to
like
say.
a Vikings problem more than anything.
That sounds like
else.
this bullshit is what it sounds like.
I mean,
I think it was the right
Herbert
move.
broke records, and when that type of thing happens, it's going to go to the quarterback over the wide receiver, man.
Of course, and it's
It's
stupid.
going to.
He broke
Not talking from a position of bias at all.
He broke Anquan Bolden's record as well. He is the sole rookie. He's the rookie receiving leader of all time. My God.
No one's doubting that he had a great season.
He should be offensive
that's
rookie
not an
of
argument.
the year.
I think you're in the Minnesota minority there, pal.
No.
Oh, man. All right, so there's our updates from around the rest of the NFC North there.
Can I say one
last
thing?
Go ahead.
And it wouldn't be an NFC North podcast if I didn't throw and talk some shit about the Green Bay Packers. Sorry, Kinger, but I have to do it. But if Green Bay were to
Season's over.
If Green Bay were to return to the NFC Championship next year and it results in a loss, Aaron Rodgers will be the first starting quarterback in NFL history to lose 5 conference championship games. Right now, it is currently him, Tom Brady, Donovan McNabb, and Kenny Stabler.
Does that mean you're rooting? Would you like to see Green Bay make it to another NFC championship next year, Remy?
For the sake of my anxiety, no, but for the humility of them maybe losing to the Vikings, perhaps, yes.
All right, I'll hold you to that next year. I can at least look forward to having another NFC North guy looking forward to another Green Bay NFC championship.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully.
Against the Vikings.
Well, there you go. So that'll wrap up our NFC North recap here. But now let's move on to the Super Bowl 55. It's a good one. Tampa Bay hosting, I guess you could say, the Kansas City Chiefs. Kind of crazy. I think Tampa Bay is technically the home team here, right? So because they switch off every year. But yeah, it's crazy. This is the first team ever to host its own Super Bowl. Over under 56. The line has moved between Chiefs 3.5 or 3, depending on where you're looking at it. But man, that's a high over under, and there's a 60% chance of rain right now in the forecast as well. I should mention. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna like we always do on our Thursday podcast or Thursday Friday, is give our best bets. So we're gonna give our best 3 bets for the Super Bowl, and that could be any type of bet, prop bet. Whatever it may be, any type of bet that deals with the Super Bowl. It could be Gatorade color. I don't care. So, Barney, let's go to you, man. What are your best bets for Super Bowl 55?
You know, the one I'm definitely gonna be laying some juice on is I'm gonna take Tom Brady in the points. I think he's the GOAT. I think right now I'm seeing it 3.5 or 3, depending on the app you're using.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot of points. I know Kansas City is just a hog molly on offense, but Tom Brady's the GOAT, and if he's getting that many points, I'm taking him. As far as some props go, don't take these ones for etched in stone here. I'm going to be evaluating them all week, but I really like Leonard Fournette's over in his rushing yards. I think it's somewhere like mid 40s. I think Tom Brady really likes to run the ball, just from his days in New England, and I think Fournette's kind of carved himself a bigger piece of the pie than Rojo has. And then I don't know. I think somebody who's definitely going to get a touchdown is Travis Kelce, right?
Yep, I would agree.
I'd probably say anytime TD with Travis Kelce, although I might get tempted to go first TD. Who knows?
All right. There it is. Before we move on to Kinger, I just want to mention, I mean, there's always fun props. I'm looking at the Gatorade color right now. Orange is plus 125 because I think that's what the Chiefs had last year when they won. Red is 2-1, yellow to green. I just love all these little props that happen with the Super Bowl. National anthem, the over/under right now on time, I think is a minute 40. I could be wrong. It's always different where you look. I just like all these weird props. But let's go to Kinger now.
You're talking fun props. Let's just go. One of my 3. I'm going red Gatorade this year, boys. That's what I think. I don't know why. I know you're right. The Chiefs did have orange last year. Both teams being red. I don't. That's just my dumb brain again saying that it's going to be red Gatorade for whoever wins the Super Bowl. So we're going with that. I'm definitely betting that. I was going to say I was going to go with Barney's same opinion on Leonard Fournette. I like his reasoning behind it. I think he has proven to be, carved out as the lead back there in Tampa, but I'll switch it up a little bit. I'm going to take Mike Evans over 4.5 receptions. The Chiefs pass defense does get a lot of respect. Evans wasn't a major impact in the Packers-Bucks game outside of the touchdown that he caught, over King on just an incredibly poor time jump in that second quarter, whatever it was. I like him to have a big game and step up in the Super Bowl and be Tom Brady's number 1 target. And I'm going to regret doing this because Tom Brady is the GOAT and he makes me eat my words every year, but I'm going to take the Chiefs -3. I think that offense has the ability is right there with Green Bay. Step up in regards to probably a step up in regards to Green Bay. You just got to be honest at this point of the season. They've got so many weapons. I don't think the Bucs can continue to turn the ball over that they have done, or the way that they've done the rest of the season. I'll probably regret it, but I'm taking the Chiefs. Let's roll.
All right. So there's Kinger's best bets right there. Go with the Gatorade color. Gotta love it. And then going the opposite of Barney there with the Chiefs. Let's go to Remy now. Remy, what do you got, man? And also, I know you love doing player parlay, like anytime touchdown player parlays. Do you have anything for that as well?
I normally just like doing them for Minnesota because I get this feeling. I feel like I got this feeling, and I stay away from them from other teams though. But for the sake of one of the parlays I'm in, I'm obviously just taking Kansas City straight up. If Kansas City wins straight up, all I need is the Lakers to win a championship, and I win a decent amount of coin. So I'm just taking that the money line. So, but I was looking, and I do think Patrick Mahomes hits his over in passing yards. It's like 329.5, so 330. And I do believe Tom Brady goes over his touchdowns, which is 2.5. So you parlay.
A lot of points you're expecting, huh?
Yeah. I mean, he's Tom Brady and he's Patrick Mahomes. So I think you parlay that with an anytime touchdown of, it could even be Mahomes. Have him run it in. We've seen him do it. You're gonna walk away smiling. Parlay that with the Chiefs money line, and you're walking out with dough.
Well, there you go. There it is. Remy with an interesting slate of best bets for this one.
Is the Gatorade, can that be completely random? Like, because I'm betting on purple.
Purple is Riptide Rush is the GOAT of all flavors. I will say that, but it does not get poured out as much.
I'm going with purple.
People drink it.
All right. Well, let me see if I can find the odds on that. Gatorade. I gotta go to Gatorade color. Purple is the highest odds, 8-1. 8-1 odds.
Let's go.
Purple.
They respect the flavor. They don't dump it out. They drink it.
That just means if they pour out purple, the Vikings are winning the Super Bowl next year. I'm just saying that.
Go do Hawks.
Yes.
All right, so my best bets here. I bought down on the Chiefs to 2.5 because I do think this is going to be a close game. And very unpredictable, especially if it rains. That's what scares me a little bit. If it rains, I think that favors the Buccaneers a little more. But I still think the Chiefs are the better team ultimately. I know they're down 2 offensive tackles, and that's going to be interesting. But I think they're Andy Reid coming off a bye. He has a significantly better record than Bruce Arians, and I think the Chiefs are going to outcoach the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game. So Chiefs I have minus 2.5 at odds minus 134, so that's $134 to win $100. And I took that early. And then another one I have is Darrell Williams under 2.5 receptions. Now his odds, I'm looking on DraftKings here, it's minus 182, but I don't care. I think that is almost a surefire guarantee. So I'm going to be taking Darrell Williams under 2.5 receptions. And then the other one on the Buccaneers side of the ball, no, actually, I keep going back and forth on this one. So, I mean, Kinger, Mike Evans, you like his over receptions. I like it the other way, under 4.5 receptions. If you look at what happened the last time these guys played, and also so there's 2 things here. I think the Chiefs or the Buccaneers are going to be targeting tight ends a lot more than normal, and they're going to be targeting the slot a lot. The Chiefs are one of the worst teams in the NFL. Guarding the slot, and they're bottom 5, I believe, in guarding tight ends as well. So those are 2 things to look at. So that's why I like Mike Evans under 4.5. But I think I'm also going to take. I'm just going to throw it out there. It's not one of my 3 best bets, but the under 56. I think that's just a huge number.
Lay the juice. I think the juice is like 140, 150 to 110 on that. So lay the juice there, Big Z.
For what? Mike Evans under? Yeah. Minus 120. I see right now. So.
Oh, that's
on DraftKings at least. So those are my best bets for the game. There's a lot more I like. I think Sammy Watkins might have a big game. This is my personal opinion. I think he's a difference maker out there for them. Tyreek Hill had 220-plus yards last time these 2 played. I would caution people to take any Gronk bets here because he's been heavily underutilized, although he had his biggest game against them last time they played, 100 yards. But, yeah, so those are my best bets. Kid J, do you have any best bets you want to throw out there?
One best bet I really like is I do like Leonard Fournette anytime touchdown. It was plus 125 last time I checked on FanDuel, but I do like it. He's scored 7 touchdowns in the last 8 games, and I think that's my best bet for this game.
All right, there you go, Leonard Fournette, anytime touchdown from Kid J. So there you go. That's our Super Bowl best bets. So I'm sure we'll be posting those on Instagram as well for you guys to follow. And we have Super Bowl squares Barney put together. So thanks for doing that, Barney. So good luck to everybody that's listening to that and involved with that. But otherwise, gentlemen, this is the last weekend until a long time until we have another football game to watch, unfortunately. So everybody's the off season starts Monday for everybody, regardless of the outcome of this game. So we'll be updating people more on what we'll be doing with this podcast going forward in terms of when we air episodes and such. I wouldn't expect it as frequently as we did during the regular season, like twice a week, but just keep an eye out. But thank you, everybody, for listening. Really appreciate it. To Barney, Remy, Kinger, and especially producer Kid J over there, thank you. And everybody enjoy your Super Bowl and have a great Sunday. And if you live in Chicago or Minnesota or Green Bay, stay warm because it's going to get cold.
Bear down.
Skull.